All right, so in this video we're going to learn about permutations. And permutations is just kind of a fancy word for saying the number of ways you can rearrange things. And so one classic example I always give is when people talk about their locker combination. It's usually 3 digits, and they have to do the first one, then the second, then the third in that order. That's really a permutation, having to do those things in that specific order. So the first question we have here is, how many different ways can you rearrange the letters in the word profit? Well, we have 6 different letters here, P-R-O-F-I-T. And so the way you can think about this, since all of these letters are unique, there's no repeating letters, we'll talk about that in a different video, but all of these letters are unique. We have 6 choices for the first letter, and then we have 5 choices for the second letter, and then we have 4 choices for the third letter, and then 3 choices for the fourth letter, and then 2 for the fifth, and then 1 for the sixth. So if you're kind of confused at how I came up with this, let's just come up with a word. So let's start with F. Let's say F was our first letter we picked. And then we'll do O for the next one. And so now there's only 4 letters left, right? I've already chosen F and I've chosen O. And we'll do P next. So now there's only 3 left. Let's do T, and then we'll do I, and how many letters are left? There's only 1 left, and it's R. So this maybe isn't a real word, but it's a one way to rearrange those letters. And if we want to figure out how many different possibilities there are, we just multiply all of these numbers together. So 6 times 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1 is 720. 720 ways to rearrange the letters in the word profit. So, and this is going to work for any word rearrangement as long as the letters are not repeating. If you have a word like Mississippi, that's going to be a different situation. We'll talk about that in a different video. All right, so a couple things that come up here. One, permutations. If you want a definition, the number of ways that n unique objects can be rearranged. And so there's a couple important things here. N just means any number. Unique means that there's no repeating. So you can't say, like, what if we have 5 blue marbles and 6 white marbles? How many ways can you rearrange those? Those blue marbles are indistinguishable. Those are not unique, and so we can't do something like that. All right, so one more example here. It says, how many ways can 4 people be rearranged in a line? Well, this is really the exact same question. We can just assume the people's names are Adam, B, Charlie, and David. And so it's really how many different 4-letter words can you make by rearranging these. You could say Adam's first, and then Charlie's second, and then B is third, and then David is fourth. That would be one possibility. So there's 4 choices for the first. There are 3 choices for the second person. There are 2 choices for the third person. And then there's only 1 choice for whoever's left over. And 4 times 3 times 2 times 1 is 24. So there'd be 24 different ways that 4 people could be rearranged in a line. Another thing that comes up with this is this term called factorial. And the factorial symbol is an exclamation mark. So it doesn't mean that you yell it. All it means is you start with that number. So if we're looking at 7 factorial, you start with that integer, 7, and then you multiply the subsequent integers after that. So 7 times 6 times 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. Up above here, this is just in general what a factorial is. You take n times 1 less than that, so n minus 1, times 2 less than that, times and so on until you get down to 1. So pretty basic. Those are permutations. It's basically just doing factorial with the number of objects that you have, but it's really important that you understand that these are all unique objects, that none of these objects are identical. Like I said, we'll talk about what to do if we have identical objects in the future.